You know, it's very unusual that I do reaction videos, but
Yeah.
thanks for watching, everybody, and
Go fuck yourselves.
you're not going to believe what I just read on the internet. And it's never just one thing with the Cleveland Browns. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like watching football Othello. It's just like a fucking
It's like
tragedy.
one death after another.
It
Tragedy
is.
upon tragedy. It's like watching Hamlet. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, it would be, the name of the play would be Romeo, Juliet, and everybody surrounding Jimmy Haslam. That would be.
Yeah.
I take the poison. I know you've all heard that Todd Monken is the new head coach, and
we'd like to welcome our new overlords.
I swear to God, So I'm going to do this is a reaction video. So I mean, remember, I could be completely wrong, completely off base, and I was able to pull up on my screen the things that went through my head when I heard the name Todd Monken. And the first thing I had to clean my screen off was from the vomit that spewed from my mouth. But without really showing my hand too much early on, this is Browns head coaches who were offensive coordinators. Let me start there. This is all under Jimmy Haslam's watch. And so that you understand where I'm coming from, this is definitely a Jimmy Haslam move. This has nothing to do with Andrew Berry. This has everything to do, like always, with Jimmy Haslam, who interjects and does the wrong thing consistently every time. And he doesn't learn from the past mistakes. So his recent hire, of course, is Todd Monken. And he was hired from the Ravens, where he was the offensive coordinator. Here's some other names you'll remember. Hugh Jackson in 2016. He was hired from the Bengals at the time when he served as their offensive coordinator. He did wonders for the offense in Cleveland. Hugh did. Freddie Kitchens. He was promoted to head coach after he was the team's interim offensive coordinator, and he didn't even earn that title. That was in 2019.
Yeah, he was a bit like Gerald Ford, who wasn't elected to anything, but ended up being president.
Right. Yeah. Then you have Kevin Stefanski. Yep, we need an offensive coordinator, and 6 years later, we need an offensive coordinator. You know, I'm going to find out one of these days that there is a proper offensive coordinator hiding in Jimmy Haslam's closet. I have no idea what. And then to make you really wonder, it's like, so what we've just mentioned were 2016, 2019, 2020, and 2026. But who could forget 2013?
Rod Chizinski,
who served as the Panthers' offensive coordinator. I mean, I can't make this shit up, folks. It's like, let's do the time warp again. I mean, I'm like, how can you consistently make the same judgments over and over again? I really don't know. And there's Big Lurker. He's in here. How about that?
Big Lurker. What's he saying? I can't read it. It's too small.
He says moo. He says moo.
Moo.
Moo. That's a good thing to say.
Moo.
And this person says, do you play games, guys, or do you just talk?
What does that even mean?
I don't know what games you want to play, but you may want to be on an X-rated site for that. We don't do that.
Wow.
And under Monken as offensive coordinator in 2019, that's right, the Browns finished 22nd in the league. Now, here's the amazing thing about this.
Well, that's better than 32nd.
There are there are problems that drug addicts have. It's called falling off the wagon. Okay.
Allegedly, yes.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, it's such a shame he'd been clean for 3 years and now he's drinking again, or now he's shooting up again. And that's the amazing thing. Todd Monken was here. He was in Cleveland with Freddie Kitchens. And what will become a major part of this program is that when Freddie Kitchens was promoted to head coach after his little interim offensive coordinator gig by Jimmy Haslam, one thing Freddie Kitchens made sure of: they're not going to take my offense away from me. Hell no. Hell no. I come up with these schemes that I dug up with a stick in the backyard of my double wide, and there is no way in God's creation that I'm going to give up the helm. Is that a word? Is that short for helmet?
Helmet.
Yeah, thank you. And so, I mean, immediately, why would Monken take a job behind a former offensive coordinator who was being named as a head coach for the first time, who wasn't going to give up the reins on the offense? And that's exactly what happened. The reason that 2019 was a ball of confusion, that's what the world is today. Hey, hey. The reason it was a ball of confusion was because Freddie Kitchens still wanted to be the offensive coordinator and the head coach. All right. Now, you're saying, well, this seems oddly familiar. Kevin Stefanski was an offensive coordinator and he became a head coach, and he wanted to become the offensive coordinator and the head coach at the same time. So he didn't let anybody call plays. And this is what I have to say about all of this shit. All of it. Todd Monken comes back for one reason and one reason only. There is no reason. He wants to be a head coach so he can do his whole thing. He figured if that dumb, ignorant goof, Freddie Kitchens, could have done it to him years ago, now it's my turn to do it. And this happens all the time. And what was the first reaction to the Browns hiring Todd Monken as their head coach?
I bet Jim Schwartz is moving out of his house as we speak.
He's already announced that he's leaving.
He's leaving.
He told coaches in the building that he was so angry he ain't coming back. And you know why he ain't coming back?
Why? Tell me.
He wanted to be the head coach so that he could be the offensive coordinator, just like Dan Campbell did where he came from before. This is human deficiencies. That's what this is.
He did like John Madden to like explain this. Like, boom, here's some telestrator.
Okay, I'll try to put this up here on the telestrator for you, even though there's no telestrator. You're an underling, and then you move up. That automatically makes everybody, boom, down here below you. And you're looking to keep moving up, so you'll wind up like Donald Trump, so everyone's below you.
Correct.
Boom. It's just that quick. You say whatever stupid things you want to say as the head coach, and they've all got to listen to you. Worked for me.
Wow. Big work. Big worker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, oh God, and Tony is here saying even the radio stations in Cleveland were going nuts in anger. Well, that's kind of a good thing. If Sports Boy Tony has an aneurysm, that may not be the worst thing in the world.
We just don't deserve nice things. I think that's the bottom line. We just deserve the shit that we're given.
It was not that Schwartz was seen screaming at Barry and Haslam. That's inaccurate. He in the Cleveland building, as soon as the word got out that Monken was the new guy, they sought out, Schwartz, and sure enough, old Jim was screaming to the other coaches in anger, "I'm out of here. I'm cleaning my office out." And I want to say something about that. Good. Fuck you. Because the bottom line is, as I keep saying over and over again, if we had an owner of this property, of this football franchise, this shit would never happen. All right?
Yeah.
You cannot let people run your business. And Jim Schwartz can go to fucking hell. I don't care how good of his statistics were. If all the ascension to the top position is to assert your will on other people and seeing them as underlings, then you got the wrong people. And we're starting out with the whole thing all over again. Todd Monken feels like part of his dick was cut off in Baltimore. And you know why. He may have been the offensive coordinator, but there was Harbaugh above him. All this talk is, well, it was just perceived that Todd Monken was going to follow John Harbaugh. It's like, no. Why would he do that?
Yeah, there's no divine right of kings in NFL franchises, is there?
No, and not only that, they would have snapped him up if they were that interested in him. That's two. And number three, he wasn't even the offensive coordinator. Don't fool yourself. It was a combination of John Harbaugh and overrated. Now we hear about this. Oh, there's a huge fallout between Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken. Of course.
Wow.
And, the perceived superstar quarterback always wins out. I mean, how do you think McDermott felt? The Buffalo quarterback just pulled a Caesar. It was a big thumbs down. The reason McDermott's no longer the coach in Buffalo is because the quarterback don't want him there. The quarterback is the guy who's going to choose the offensive coordinator and all that shit. I mean, this is the hierarchy principle, and it's the wrong way to run a business. And that's what I'm seeing. So, of course, Schwartz is angry. And if you really searched his soul,
you wouldn't find anything.
No, what you would discover is, what pisses me off? It's that Monken did it better than I.
Wow.
That's like having two mass murderers saying, I'm envious that guy. He took out 14 and I only took out 10. He just did a better job of it. He wiped out more people. So now what you have is a guy in Ted Monken who is
Todd even.
Todd.
Todd,
the God, who harkens back to the days of Forrest Gregg. All right. If I was hoping for a Sam Rutigliano kind of coach, I got the opposite end of the spectrum. Todd Monken is a slave driver. He is a guy who is, when they say politely, he's a no-nonsense guy. It's his way or the highway. This presents a lot of problems. First of all, he doesn't have a successful record in a lot of the things that he's done. And I can go over with you some of that. You've probably already read about it if you're a Browns fan. He has more than 3 decades of experience in the college and NFL ranks. But this is his first head coaching job. He was the head
Yep.
coach at the University of Southern Mississippi from
Wow.
2013 to 2015, registering a 13-25 record. But he did have that 9-5 season that he's hung on to all of these years. He then left to be the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he was there for 3 years. And the bottom line was he got a little taste, man, because a couple of teams actually had a small interest in him as being a head coach. In 2023, he spoke with both the Chargers and the Panthers. But he lost out to the other Harbaugh with the Chargers, and the Panthers. Fuck the Panthers. So last year, he interviewed with the Jaguars and the Bears for their head coaching position. Now, stop and think about this. If I named those franchises, especially the Panthers, the Jags, the Bears, and now the Browns. Now, the Bears suddenly got turned around because they found themselves a quarterback and maybe somebody who knows how to use them. These are all low-tier teams. And that's what Jimmy Haslam has done to Cleveland. He's put them in the bottom tier forever. That's what it will always be from now until the end of time, because you can't get him out of there. And he just will continue to make the same errors over and over again. As far as his arrival in Baltimore, Monken had come from the University of Georgia, where he contributed, if you want to believe that, to their back-to-back national championships in 21 and 2022.
It did.
The biggest thing that he can say is that he was there in the rookie year of overrated Lamar Jackson, which was a tremendous rookie year. Lamar took the most valuable player award in 2023. The Ravens finished with the number one offense for the first time in franchise history. And as the career went on, his first 2 years in Baltimore were fantastic offensively for Lamar Jackson. In 2024, he set career highs in passing yardage, touchdowns, and yards per attempt. But something happened in 2025. The dings started showing up on the untouchable one, and suddenly Lamar was getting injuries, and he missed 4 games. Didn't finish 2 other games. Suddenly, the offense was 27th in the NFL. But here's the thing. Jackson and Monken had chemistry issues this past season. Monken's hard-driving coaching style did not mesh well with Lamar Jackson. So here's what you're going to have. You're going to have hard-driving Todd Monken. And he is going to look at Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And he is going to beat up on both of them. And the guy who's the best at taking shit will become the next quarterback. I'm back. Mark my words. Shedeur is not mature enough. That has Shedeur and mature. It kind of has a rhyme to it. And this guy's going to come down hard on Shedeur. There's not going to be any more of that. Well, the reason I threw it was because I just thought I'd hang it up there because it's worked before for me in the past. I mean, there's not going to be any more of that shit. And there are Browns fans who are going to be absolutely thrilled that after the catastrophe of Bubba Ventrone, who's allegedly talking with maybe the Patriots for is a special teams coach. And that's for the special team.
Special, all right.
Yeah. There was no accountability with the special teams, no accountability. Can you imagine Monken standing there and looking at Jerry Jeudy going, "Will you fucking catch the ball with your hands?" And Jerry Judy's going,
Yeah, well, whatever.
yeah, you don't give a fuck. But a lot of Browns fans are going to be happy because we have a badass guy. Now he's going to come down hard on the players and get them in line. And you know what that's good for?
What's that good for?
2 years.
Yeah.
And he is the Bickerstaff.
Or the Byron Scott of the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, you can bust chops for only so long. And
people get fed up with your act. Yeah.
Well, no, what happens is invariably some of those young players will become regulars as far as people who will go on to earn more money. They're not going to be just special teams people. They're going to be, people who contribute in a major kind of way. And when they get a chance at free agency, they're going to take it. And, it's going to be harder and harder to get people who have a star mentality to really yield to the stick that's swatting them. It happens in the NBA a lot. And by the way, if you're not following the Jimmy Haslam saga,
at the Milwaukee Bucks.
That's right. I mean, obviously, Giannis has had enough. He wants out.
Yeah.
Everything he touches turns to shit. I don't care, minority, half owner, full owner. This guy is like mercury in your water supply. Bad fucking news.
It's like rain on your wedding day.
And the bill that you already paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. God almighty. Here's what Andrew Berry said. And this is, again, everything has nothing to do with anyone but Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah,
this was 100% Haslam.
Yeah, he's sort of like the press secretary for President Haslam, Andrew Berry. That seems to be all he does.
Here's the quote by Berry. Todd has a varied and diverse background, and including transgenderism.
Yes, he's Hawaiian, he's white, he's Inuit.
Hey, diversity! These words, varied and diverse background.
He's failed in a lot of places.
He's a fucking football coach. Come on. That we found as a particularly appealing match for our team at this stage in its life cycle. Life cycle.
Like moribund.
Our life cycle is 3 years. And it goes back to go without collecting $200.
Wow.
Get this. This is directly from Andrew Berry. He has a direct, demanding, and detail-oriented leadership style that will create a great incubator for a young team.
Incubator.
Now, what kind of an offensive coordinator are you going to get when this guy, with his direct, demanding, and detail-oriented leadership style, is going to be the Todd Monken offense, the Kevin Stefanski offense? It's the same fucking shit. It's a repeat of the same thing. My way or the highway. You get no input on this. And you want to know why? Because Freddie Kitchens didn't let me have any say, so why should I let you? just tell you the truth, folks. I know of a shithole employment situation when I see it and hear it. They wanted somebody to crack the whip, and what you're going to get is Jim Schwartz cracking the whip back and people saying, I ain't going to put up with this bullshit, and just leaving. Why can't they hire somebody who's better at bringing people together rather than alienating them? The my way or highway approach is not good for young players, and it's an app. I mean, I'm sure that Todd Monken is going to go up to Myles Garrett and say, I've been looking at the film, and you know something? You're lining up in the wrong position. You're not going to be able to choose where you line up anymore, big boy. No. You're going to line up where we tell you to line up. You know, and if I see you jumping over the line of scrimmage again before the play begins, I'm going to sit your ass down. You know, we need that. That's exactly the direct, demanding, and detail-oriented leadership style that the Browns were looking for. Here's more from Andrew Berry. His successful offensive track record at both the pro and college level, with a variety of offensive systems and quarterback skill sets, will allow maximum flexibility as we make several long-term investments on that side of the ball. Now, I will tell you what that means. I'll read it again. His successful offensive track record.
I think you need the Casey Kasem voice for that.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Hi, I'm Casey Kasem. His successful offensive track record at both the pro and college level, with a variety of offensive systems, and boy, they were offensive, and quarterback skill sets will allow maximum flexibility as we make several long-term investments on that side of the ball. Now back to the countdown.
Number one with a bullet.
Yeah, and what this means is, you know, we got to make a decision on these young quarterbacks, and who's going to take his shit the best is the guy who's going to hold on. I mean, do you think that they're going to get any utility out of Deshaun Watson? I mean, it's like Todd Monken's approach. So you're dipping your wick everywhere on every goddamn Instagram broads page. You ain't going to do that here. That's
what it is.
The approach. And Deshaun Watson would say, well, then I will find it elsewhere. It's like, okay, thank you for that. And then you have Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur. And I have a feeling that Shedeur is going to be Private Pile. No, I don't mean golly. I'm talking the movie.
Golly,
not
Sergeant
Gomer Pyle,
Monken.
the movie. Vincent D'Onofrio. Gomer Pyle. Yeah, right. Yeah. What's your major malfunction, dumb nuts? And poor Shedeur is going to be like, you know, stop smiling. But praise the Lord. Stop praising the Lord. And Dillon Gabriel will be like, I look up to you. Thank you for the discipline. I like the discipline. I like bondage too. So there you have it. So what you're going to have in Cleveland is a guy who was never a great offensive coordinator, because let's face it, the whole Baltimore thing wouldn't have gone into the turf if it wasn't for the fact that in their big chance in a 20-17 loss to the Chiefs, this is the guy, Monken, who abandoned his running game, who suddenly decided, I'm putting it in the hands of Lamar Jackson because he's my superstar guy. And he pissed it down the drain. The goddamn Chiefs only scored 20 points and they won that football game. I mean, went on to the Super Bowl. That was the Ravens' chance to get into the goddamn Super Bowl. And he pissed it away. And to this day, ask any Ravens fan, and they'll tell you they just abandoned the running game for no reason. That was their strength. He was never that good of an offensive coordinator to begin with, Todd Monken. Second of all, Harbaugh didn't invite him to come over with him to his new team. That's the second thing. The third thing, nobody else offered him a fucking job. That's the third thing. And the fourth thing is, what do you expect him to do? He gets this out of the blue invite to be a head coach of a shitty franchise. And what should he say? No? Everybody else decided not to interview for the position once they found out, oh, God, Jimmy's still in charge there.
Well,
oh, God. Yeah, and that's exactly the case. As long as Haslam is there, the wrong decision will always be made. I guarantee you this is a bad decision. It's as sure as I'm sitting here, it's a bad decision. I don't even know, predicated on what Todd Monken did in Baltimore, he wanted to hand the ball off up the middle and try to keep short passes down the field to keep things simple for Lamar. And Lamar bailed him out because his receivers were never open. They threw to tight ends just like Kevin Stefanski did. That's what I saw. I saw a lack of wide receivers eventually in Baltimore, and everybody they're throwing to guys like Likely and their tight ends and handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. And that was the deal. That was their offense. And they didn't score enough points. And then the defense, you saw the defense fall apart right before your very eyes, because it's just like in Cleveland. The defense sees an offense that is impotent and they give up. It's like, why in the hell should we work our ass off out here? We're never going to score this many points anyway. And that's what happens. And it's going to happen again.
Well, I think I'm going to go have a nap. So I've had enough. I have nothing to say. I have nothing original to say.
All right. Okay.
It's just everybody's dead. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll talk to you end of the week. Okay.
Yeah. Why not?
All right.
I don't even know how to exit out of this on this phone thing.
Do you want me to exit you?
I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know where the exit is.
All right. Have a good rest.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye-bye. Bingo! And he's gone. I'm talking about coaches with God complexes. This little finger can get you in or out of the studio. So he's going to inherit this defense. And what does he know about a defense? What does he know? And who are we going to hire now as a defensive coordinator? This whole thing, it's just going to be turnover city. I don't know. And I love the end of the story on ESPN. It's unclear whether Monken will retain Schwartz, who is still under contract. Jimmy Haslam said he absolutely would like to keep Schwartz in the organization. Yeah, fine way of showing him. Blindside him. I sure as hell hope that they called Schwartz first, but don't be so sure. Woo! I was charging my phone and I didn't have the opportunity. Woo! Fucking Haslam. What an idiot. There's no guarantee that Schwartz will return. And now from the stories we're getting around the internet, if you can believe them, Schwartz is a woman scorned and he is pissed off and doesn't want to come back to Cleveland. I don't want to come back to Cleveland. Yeah. I know. The only person who has more fake awards would be Donald Trump. It's always those folks who just want to believe that they're so great and they're really not. Oh, that's funny. Harbaugh was let go because ownership in Baltimore wanted Monken fired. Typical move. You know something? If Harbaugh wanted Monken that bad, he would have just immediately brought him over to the Giants. Everybody wants the shot at the head coaching job, especially a 60-year-old man. I mean, let's be honest about it. I'm a 68-year-old man. And that's what Schwartz had his chance and he fucked it up. And the reason is because he was a slave driving guy, which is great for defensive players, but he had no finesse with offensive players, and it all fell apart in Detroit for the brief time that they named him the head coach there. So the fact that he wanted the position, I understand, but that's like little Timmy Bartholow wanting the fire truck toy at Christmas. And he doesn't get it. And, God only knows what little Timmy Bartholow would say if he didn't get the goddamn bright red fire truck toy.
Fuck you! Fuck every one of you! The Merry Christmas this is. I hope the house catches on fire, an electrical fire, and Dad, I hope you get caught in the flames.
This is the way life works in the NFL. It's a power play. From the ownership on down, let's be honest. And when you hear the implicit threat of Andrew Berry by saying, the reason we hired Monken, he has a successful offensive track record in both the pros and college, mainly in college, with the University of Georgia, who already drafted every great player in the country at the time. And a variety of offensive systems and quarterback skill sets that will allow maximum flexibility. And that's their way of looking at life. It's not wins and losses, it's business transactions. We're going to get rid of this guy. We're going to get rid of that guy. We're going to save money and put money here and do that. And it doesn't even take into account how you create a winning environment. They just don't have a clue. Oh, my God. Somehow when I read this whole thing and the story breaking, it just bad. You would think that a guy, hell, even Deion Sanders kind of turned around the Colorado Buffaloes, but you can only do a certain type of act for so long. If you're not a great mind, and I'm going to talk about Popovich in San Antonio. I saw a video of him just recently, and I don't mean to digress, but yeah, he was having trouble walking. He was announced that he walked across the floor, and he's in bad shape after the stroke that he had. But he was a great coach, and he got more than just one young generation of players to buy into his team philosophy. Everybody who played for Pops played the right way, and that's why they won the championships. It wasn't because of the individual David Robinson talents or the all the guys that they had. It wasn't that. It was they all played together, and he didn't do it by just breaking chairs over people's heads, but if he had to come down on people, he would. There was a right way and there was a wrong way. It wasn't just a my way thing. There's a right way and a wrong way. The my way methodology always fails. It always fails. If I came in and bought out a radio station and it was my way, my way, my way, I mean 2/3 of the things that were dreamed up as far as the formatting of the radio properties and the creativity of the air staff, they would never have, if I would have known beforehand what they were going to say and demanded that they handed it to me, no, you're not going to say that. It would have taken all the entertainment value, all of the spontaneity out, and it would have been a drag and a bore and nobody would have listened. You've got to turn some of the reins over. You got to keep control of things. And I'll use the thing that I learned the most. Power is most effective when it's used sparingly. You come in and you lower the boom day after day after day, your staff will quit. And on a football team, they will tune you out. There has to be encouragement mixed in with the teaching and the hard ass approach. Somebody crosses the borderline. I don't think you sit there and yell and scream at the players. I think when somebody, a guy like Jerry Jeudy, if he fucks off, he doesn't block people downfield, he stops running in the middle of his pattern or whatever, you quietly take him aside and say, we're trading you. Got no use. But you're not going to sit there and yell and scream in front of people. That's Forrest Gregg shit. And you don't need that, especially the players have more leverage now than they ever did in the NFL, and they'll just wait it out. They'll wait it out until they become a free agent, and they'll play at a half-ass speed, and your team will continue losing, and then they'll go somewhere else, and maybe they'll contribute to somebody else's winning cause. Who knows? I mean, the fact is, the way that he being Todd Monken, got the job at Southern Mississippi as a head coach was because he was replacing a coach that had an 0-12 season. And it took him until 2015 to get to 9-5. But as soon as he had that 9-5 record, you know what old Todd did? He got the fuck out of Southern Mississippi. Oh, I'm leaving Mississippi. I'm going to the NFL now. And he did. He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's it. And he was their offensive coordinator 2016. But by 2018, Dirk Koetter, the head coach, was fired. And he was not retained by Bruce Arians. So then he had to have a job. So he crawled on his hands and knees to Jimmy Haslam. And in 2019, by God, he put himself right underneath new head coach Freddie Kitchens' penis, and basically would catch whatever there was. And he never made a single decision because Freddie Kitchens, who'd never been a head coach, never even been a fucking offensive coordinator, the power went to his head immediately, and he just did his thing. And that was the most confusing offensive season in the history of the Cleveland Browns, was 2019. And that's really where the whole Baker Mayfield problem stemmed from. Wasn't Baker. He was hearing one thing from one guy, one thing from another guy, and it just fucked everything up. He never was the same, Baker Mayfield. After that good rookie season, it all went to hell. And that's because you had these two idiots who were arguing with one another. One was Freddie and one was Todd. Then in 2020, after the Browns said, what the fuck? We're going to get rid of the guy who lives in the double wide head coach. Hey, we're going to get rid of the offensive coordinator as well. That's when he went to Georgia. All right. And Kirby Smart was the head coach. And they won the national championship over Alabama in 2021. And then the second championship. And that was, unbelievable. They won 65-7 over TCU. And so at that point, he was marketable. He got that job with the Baltimore Ravens, and he hit the jackpot with a Lamar Jackson, who at that time in his career wasn't crippled and was willing to actually listen to somebody. And so he listened to Todd Monken and put up with the constant beat down. And he became a good quarterback for 2 years. And then after that, he had enough of the shit. And when I talk about J.B. Bickerstaff in this conversation. It's easy to say that, young players need to got to put your foot down on them, But ask Darius Garland, ask Donovan Mitchell, ask their agents what they thought of JB Bickerstaff. And you're going to say to me, but look at how the Pistons are winning. Oh, yes, today they are. But you think that their players are going to not think they're stars? Do you think Cade Cunningham is going to put up with that lousy offense when they lose, which they will do in the playoffs, because he always does? When they stop allowing the Pistons to commit 100 fouls a game, it's all going to change, believe me. The NBA reacts quick to things, and I know that this is kind of an offshoot concept, but it's no different than the NFL. The NBA says, we have a problem here because the Lakers suck and LeBron's old and crippled. And it doesn't look like Luka's going to be able to drag them out of the mire. And gosh, the team we were pimping as the future of the East side, the Eastern Conference, like the Orlando Magic, it's like, it didn't happen. And they're just fighting to stay above 500. And it's like, and the Knicks, well, we can always give them a hand, but they're not going to win anything. I mean, they're only a half a game ahead of the Cavaliers right now. After all that bullshit we were hearing about, look at the Knicks, look at the Knicks. It's like, why do I have to look at the Knicks? Slow-footed Jalen Brunson. Look, he's a great one-on-one player, and he proves it by hogging the ball all the time. And the Knicks have been in a death spiral for the last several weeks. The Cavaliers, injured and wounded, have virtually caught up to them. The NBA said they're going, we can't even count on Giannis anymore in Milwaukee because Jimmy Haslam killed that franchise. So, I mean, what do we have to pimp? Well, thank God we got the Oklahoma City Thunder. We got the reigning champions. We can really talk about them. And for now, it's the Pistons. They've been the surprise, just like the Cavaliers were the surprise, but they're not going to win in the playoffs, and you know it, and I know it. The NFL is the same way. Can't count on the Chiefs anymore. That Taylor Swift thing came and went, and so did Patrick Mahomes. Now he's going to have his leg amputated. We got to figure something out. We got to make the Bears good. Got to do that. Caleb Williams is the future over there. I can't talk about Aaron Rodgers anymore. He's dead and gone. And Lamar Jackson is overrated. And what do we have? And the only team that didn't change their coach, the Cincinnati Bengals, should have. I mean, do you think that Joe Burrow is happy that Zach Taylor is still on board? I mean, come on. So the NBA is going to put up with the Pistons, and that's fine and dandy. And the NFL is the same way. It's like, we're always looking for teams to rise up. Not that they're real contenders, mind you. And we have to sell some things because whatever team comes out of Baker Mayfield's conference, it's over there in that division, is going to be barely sub 500 or even one under 500. We got to find the next thing that's coming up. And we're running out of patience with the Bills. So the Bills fired their coach. And this is when you get teams that start getting help. Okay. And the Pistons are a team that have gotten help in the NBA. You may not have had any reason to watch the Pistons play, but they're committing 100 fouls a game. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. It's not going to continue in the playoffs. The way you get good is you build, and you're able to keep building when you have the pieces on one side of the ball. Then you can keep building on the lower side. You got to get a little bit lucky. You draft a good quarterback, or you have some good running backs. Or maybe your defense is stacked. You just got to get a couple of offensive pieces. But what you're seeing in the NFL playoffs, for God's sakes, look at the games. I mean, with the exception of when Stidham was playing. I mean, Cleveland, you think you got it bad. Can you imagine Stidham out there? He sucked before the weather got cold outside. But, you got to pray that Drake May isn't going to, you start putting your faith in Sam Darnold. It's getting more and more watered down. And that's supposed to give dumb owners like Jimmy Haslam an opportunity. That's how he's supposed to rise like a phoenix. And it doesn't happen because he's perpetually brain-addled. He's stupid. And he'll always make the wrong decisions. The same thing's true with the New York Giants. The same thing is true with the New York Jets. I mean, look what the Giants did. The path of least resistance. We're going to go ahead and take John Harbaugh and give him, he wrote up a sheet of demands and we're going to accept those demands. We're just going to pay him all the money he wants. That's just a bad way to walk into something. That's just not even sensible. So, I don't know. And eventually, everybody has enough. Giannis knows where that organization's going. He don't want to be there. And it's just like every Browns player who ever played. They don't want to be there. Problem is you have to spend so much time in there. I'm done for the 178th time. Tell me about it. I've been doing a fucking talk show about this. I'm going on 25 years now. That is totally fucked up. Now, is there anything positive to say about all this? Look, this is my immediate reaction. This has Jimmy Haslam written all over it. And anything that has Haslam written all over it, quite honestly, see, it blurs everything. But if you do something simple like that, it clarifies everything. You see? That simple thing is to get Haslam out of Cleveland. You need an owner and you don't think an owner can turn things around? I mean, Gordon Gunn was totally blind. But anybody who followed Ted Stepien, my God, that was like a boon to the players and like a rejuvenation of interest in the sport in Cleveland. And new players generated enthusiasm. The NBA wanted to help the Cavaliers at that time. The NFL doesn't want to help the Browns because, let's be honest, the reason that Haslam became the owner of the Browns was because the NFL wanted shit in Cleveland. That's why all the bad calls, that's why all the historic bad things that have happened to the organization, they don't care. When Art Modell moved that team and they allowed him to do that, and then they put this last-minute rinky-dinky organization together and put them out on the field in 1999, 2000. And they didn't know how to play. They didn't have qualified players. They didn't have qualified management. It's just run amok ever since then. Nobody cares about the franchise. It's really an unfortunate thing. My goodness. I will end up the program today by saying the following. The Cleveland Cavaliers play tonight at 7 o'clock. Evan Mobley is out again for 1 to 3 weeks with the same calf injury that he had 6 weeks ago, that he miraculously came back from in 1 week. Think maybe he came back too soon? But one thing I'll tell you about the Cleveland Cavaliers, they haven't quit. They haven't given up. I don't think they're playing great basketball, but to be honest with you, they can't even field a healthy team. They say that Darius Garland is close to being back, probably for another week or two before he re-injures in his toe again. But they have shown some fight. They're not playing well. And I can't tell you that they're doing great, but they're winning the games that they were losing. And it's coming from really interesting sources like Jalen Tyson, and it's coming from guys who you wouldn't expect it to be coming from. And Naquan Tomlin, and, guys who are working hard. And Dean Wade is back working until he gets hurt again. And Donovan Mitchell scoring 45 points. And they're up to 28-20. And you know what? It's just like all the other sports. It's very diluted. You don't have the monster team. You got the Pistons, and I'm not afraid of the Pistons. Not afraid of them one bit. I don't think that the Cavaliers are a deep playoff team, but you never know what might happen if they got all their players together. Sam Merrill will be back, and DeAndre Hopkins, in one way or form or another, will be back. And tonight against the Lakers, we'll get to see LeBron come back to Cleveland. I heard that Austin Reeves is out for the Lakers. But who knows? From game to game, you never know how the Cavaliers are going to play. But here recently, they've at least, I still think they're way underperforming. I really do. I think there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of sloppy ball handling. There's just a lot of errors that are mental errors that not only turn the ball over, but they turn the ball over at midcourt, which ends up in an immediate 2 points going the other way. Way too much of that. Way too much of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen getting the ball slapped out of their hands. When you're down on the post, you go up to the basket, you put the fucking ball up. You either draw a foul, and if they don't call fouls, you just flip the bird to the NBA. The bottom line is, if you're that close to the rim, you go up strong and you take your chances. You don't sit there and hold it and rock around like you're some crippled guy. You're going to get the ball stripped out of your hands. And then what happens when Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are in the game together, and Mobley standing there in the middle of the key with the ball and head and shoulder faking and gets the ball slapped out, he and Jarrett can't get down the floor anymore. It's 5-on-3 for the other team. It's an instant layup. That's what we see way too much of. Way too many turnovers, and turnovers that instantly turn into points. They're doing a better job of rebounding right now. And there have been some real positive things. Jalen Tyson continues to shoot the ball. He had a little bit of a spell there where he wasn't hitting the three, and now right back to where he was. And that's very affirming that he's capable of doing it. Besides that, Naquan gives you a boost. And CPJ has not been as prolific as he had been earlier, but he's being forced on the floor a little bit more. And Lonzo Ball is back to playing, and he played one good game. And I swear to God, a bunch of people went online to fillet him. And if you don't know what fillet means, it's okay, so you understand what I'm talking about. And Lonzo Ball's not a good basketball player anymore. And he looks like he's playing something for something now, and he is. A job somewhere. And I hope he's traded. I hope they say, hey, he's still got something left in him. They are able to get something for him. But CPJ still, even though he's not thinking offense at all, and he's missing some free throws, his shot looks a little cockeyed. He's not confident like he was earlier. He seems to be thinking a little bit too much. And I know that he hears Kenny Atkinson's voice in his head while he's sleeping. He's still hustling, getting rebounds and getting turnovers and sticking his hands in people's business and helping get turnovers. So we have that. And we're getting help with Merrill coming back, assuming he doesn't re-hurt his hand. That is a huge 3-point weapon, because right now the Cavaliers have been winning some lower scoring games. And in a lot of the cases, the team, by getting rebounds, we have more possessions, more opportunities to shoot the ball. And it's not that we're a great 3-point shooting team, but with Merrill added back on there and Garland back on there, it changes the entire profile and character of the team. I'll be interested in seeing what happens against the Lakers. That will be an ESPN game. Of course, it's the LeBron returns to Cleveland thing, amidst the speculation that this is LeBron's last year in Los Angeles and may well be his last year in professional basketball. So, with that, I'm going to bid you a fond adieu. And I hope I'm wrong about all this. But again, I'm not going to repeat all this shit show after show after show. I shut up about it. We'll see what decisions they make, who they draft, and it will give us a better idea of what they're allegedly trying to do. And for now, I can just tell you what my immediate feelings have been. Thanks a lot for tuning in to this literally off the top of my head, unresearched version of Moohead Radio. We'll be back again on Friday to talk more shit with you. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.